Let's do this real quick before I talk myself out of it. I'm Nani here, and recently, not long ago, I made a middle of the night post about my daughter's murder, etc. and so forth. So in my mind, I think I would like to talk about the necessary aspect of being someone that follows the frog path, fully reliant or relying on God, and fully surrendered. We follow Christ, follow Jesus. And to do so, we must forgive. And because we're commanded to, because Jesus forgave. And he showed that, in the Lord's Prayer. Father, forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who have trespassed or sinned / done us wrong against us. And that's just the way it is. I think it's self-explanatory. We must forgive, and as we forgive, we will be forgiven. Divine law. And I'll show you a book, a little book, and I've showed it in years past, that was just this wonderful God wink to help me, because, and it's not something you have to feel, okay? Forgiveness is not an emotion. Forgiveness is not a feeling. It's an act of the will. And you can start off with, I was told many, many years ago by an older, much wiser person, and that would have been 30 years ago. Father, please make me willing to be willing to forgive, because some things seem almost impossible to forgive. And if you haven't lived that or know of somebody that has, in the not too distant future, you're going to hear more about that. Recovering from some illnesses going on here. So anyway, forgive others as we have been forgiven. Remember, what does Jesus say? Forgive us of our trespasses, sins, as we forgive those who have sinned against us. And hold on, I'll show the book. Okay. It's this book, Forgiving What You'll Never Forget, by Dr. David Stu. It's for me to listen to somebody years ago in this process of forgiving the man that murdered my daughter, and abuse, and all forms of abuse. And then I was currently married to somebody who I stayed married to, but that I loved very, very much, who was unwell, etc. and so forth, but extremely abusive. And so you're in the middle of the relationship or the abuses while they're happening, but yet knowing it's necessary to walk in forgiveness, so that can be hard. And not only abuse is done to you, but done for a mom, the good godly moms anyway, it's abuse is done to your children, or pain's done to them, which we want to hang on to and sound all righteous, but forgiveness is just essential. And so is it possible to forgive all this? Yes, you can forgive people, and then God will he will forgive you as you forgive others. Yeah, and so it's necessary to realize what you've done wrong. And in Living Frog is 12-step based Christianity, and it's about being radically honest with yourself, or rigorously honest about what you've done to other people. Doesn't matter your frame of mind, it's just a fact. Because we can explain things and rationalize them. So just, hey, I did this. and then listing all the people that you need to forgive. And, it can start off with, Lord, please make me willing to be willing to forgive. Forgiveness is a process. And forgiving does not mean reconciliation. It does not mean you have to stay in a relationship with that person. But if you do, you have to recognize that continuing forgiveness is going to be needed, and that's on you. So instead of I have to forgive, frogging, fully relying on God life is also about gratitude. Everything, learn to be grateful. Romans 8:28 is one of my life verses. That God can make something beautiful or good come out of any and all circumstances. I had a hard time believing that could happen, but it does, because it's just a divine law. We live under the blood of Jesus. He was our sacrifice, and hanging on the cross in surviving, I can't even imagine what kinds of torture. He said, Father, forgive them, but they don't know what they're doing. I learned a lot from that, and by doing so allows us to be able to rise to new levels of kingdom living while on the earth. And y'all, kingdom living does not mean wealth financially necessarily. It means just unreal, and the peace and the joy and the power and the increasing presence of the Lord, of God with you, is worth it all. And you don't get there unless you forgive, and that's a daily thing. Sometimes it's daily, hourly. So there we go, right? Okay, just wanted to pass that on. Okay, well, be blessed, and talk later.